Thanks for inviting me here. It's a privilege to be here at this forum. Thanks to all the faculty members and all the students who are here. It's
Good
really a
morning, Sugandha.
good morning, Dr. Surendra.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Dr.
Good
Surendra.
afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon,
Good
Dr.
afternoon, Sarika.
To begin with, I would like to invite Professor Sarita Kumar ma'am, convener of Internal Quality Assurance Cell IQAC, to speak a few words. Ma'am, please.
Hello, everyone. I welcome all of you, and I congratulate Department of Commerce to organize this webinar, especially on this important topic, an insight into currency perspectives or derivatives. And I'm thankful to Ms. Sugandha Sachdeva, who is Vice President Commodities and Currency Research at Religare Broking Limited, to spare her valuable time and be present amongst us. And I am also very glad that Department of Commerce is releasing their second edition of the magazine, The Chronicles. And I welcome again all of you, and I request all the students to be very, very attentive and to gain maximum out of this important topic. And they should interact, with the speaker in the end. And basically, they should take the valuable insights out of this webinar. And I welcome again all of you, and welcome especially Ms. Sugandha Sachdeva.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sarita. Thanks for this honor.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Jitendra Goyal, sir, for welcoming our honorable guest and launching the Chronicles. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Jitendra Goyal, welcome you all on behalf of Department of Commerce, Acharya Narendra Dev College. Today, we are honored to have with us Ms. Sugandha Sachdeva, a dynamic professional having a qualitative experience of more than 16 years in financial markets. She is presently working as Vice President, Commodity and Research with one of the India's leading financial service organization, Religare Broking Limited, and is spearheading a team of research analysts. With an honor degree in Commerce from Shri Ram College of Commerce and Masters from Hindu College, Delhi University, she is a person with basic finance acumen, having hands-on experience in and knowledge of valuation techniques in analyzing different asset classes like commodities and currency. Her main area of work is identifying trends and formulating strategies for swing and positional traders using specialized software, developing framework to analyze, working on various models, and communicating investment ideas in the form of research reports, presentations, and recommendations. Apart from the core activities, she has been a speaker at various investor seminars and also provides training to the business teams on regular basis. She has also written and presented a research paper titled Role of Commodity Derivatives in Global Meltdown, which was published by Takshila Academia of Economic Research, and is actively involved in providing her inputs both on commodities and currency segments for various print and digital media, and is regularly invited by leading business channels, CNBC Awaaz, G Business, CNBC TV 18 for their commodity-based shows. She has been conferred with Innovative Business India's Today's Market Analyst Award in the energy sector from G Business in 2011 and again in 2013 in the commodities technical category. The award was felicitated by the Honorable Chief Minister of the State of Gujarat, Mr. Narendra Modi, and CEO G News, Mr. Bhaskar Das. Ma'am, we have now welcomed you. I welcome you, ma'am, for today's webinar. And before starting the session, I would like to inform you that, ma'am, today we are going to release our second edition of the newsletter, that is semi-annual newsletter, The Chronicle. And before starting the session, I would request you to please release the same. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Dr. Jitendra Goyal. Thanks for this honor. I'm really delighted to be connected with you all, with all young minds and all the faculty members. I think it's congratulations to you and your team for releasing this second edition of Chronicles. So my heartiest congratulations, and I hope you continue to do good work in the field of educating your students and providing them the right guidance once they step out of the college. And there is a sea of opportunities out there. I think you all faculty members are putting in a lot of efforts to provide the right guidance to the students. So over to you now, so we can just release this. I think heartiest congratulations from my side.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request you to please start the session.
So students, I'm sure you all are intrigued by the financial market space. It's been a lot of volatility that we have seen in the financial market space. And I think in last 1 year, there has been one parabolic rise that we have seen in the financial market space, with all global equity indices or the domestic equity indices all scaling new record highs. And I think everybody has been intrigued by these markets and enthused by these markets. No one, even if we talk about any businessman or a student or a housewife, everybody is getting attracted towards these markets because of the returns that the markets have generated in last 1 year, in spite of the pandemic hitting us. But yes, we are not going to talk about the equity market space, but yes, in general, today we are going to talk about derivative market segment and one of the most important asset class globally. This is not just Indian perspective, this is a global perspective. This is one unexplored segment. We do not have extreme retail participation in the currency derivatives market, but yes, we have extreme potential in these markets. It's just that it is still untapped in the domestic market space. So let's just dabble with the currency derivative space and understand how currency derivatives can be used to maximize returns with a very small investment. So this is one area which in fact students would like to explore, because the investment amount is very limited in even a student or a housewife or the faculty members. They all can explore this area because this is very attractive area and the returns are like phenomenal if you are very disciplined. Obviously, these derivatives are a risky instrument, but yes, if you are disciplined, this is a wonderful space to be in. It always gives you an adrenaline rush. So let me just start with my presentation. Just allow me 1 minute.
Ankit, you stop yours.
So I hope it's visible.
Yes, Sugandha, it is.
Yes, ma'am. It is visible.
And students, are you comfortable in English, or ma'am shall use Hindi-English mix? Just use your chat box to tell us, because I want you to get the maximum knowledge and benefit. Just share what do you want? Hindi-English mix or English is fine? Okay.
I think everybody is comfortable with English, so I'll continue. So few have written English also. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, English would be, I think, a little better option.
Yeah, better.
Okay.
So why a derivative? Let's understand what is a derivative. See, a derivative is a contract between two parties where they, on a financial asset or a set of assets like an index, where they agree to exchange it. So it is basically any financial asset or a security or a commodity or interest rates or any particular stocks like Reliance, SBI, or any other script. I think I'm sure you must have been seeing at least the markets, the Reliance specifically, the blue chip shares. At least everybody is aware that how the markets have been performing in the last 1 year, from the hearsay at least. So derivatives, what are the basic uses of derivatives? They are basically used to mitigate risk. So that is called hedging, or one assumes positions in the derivative market with the expectation of commensurate reward. So that is called speculation. So you buy a particular stock, let's say at 1100, and you sell it off at 1400. So here your perspective is speculation. But yes, derivatives can be used to mitigate risk also. In the case of currency segment, especially, many of you might be planning to go abroad, and currency risk is something which you really need to understand. See, as of now, rupee has been very stable in last 6 months. It has been quite stable. But last year, Indian rupee hit a record low of 76.90 mark. So how it affects you if you are traveling abroad for a holiday, or if you are studying abroad also, this currency risk is very of a paramount importance to all of you, for your parents also who are sponsoring your fees. So in case the rupee depreciates to, let's say, 79, how will it impact your fees? So it will definitely increase. And on the other hand, in case the rupee, which is currently hovering around 73.5 mark, if it appreciates to 71 mark, then you will have to shell out less money. So here we are talking about the exchange rate vis-a-vis US dollar. So that is called the exchange rate here. And this is the currency risk which is present for any importer, any exporter, or a student, or any other traveler. So what you can do is, in case of the derivatives, in case you have knowledge about derivatives segment, you can certainly hedge your risk. You can take a position in the exchange platform and you can hedge your risk. Whatever is your purpose, whether you're an exporter or an importer, you can take the contra position in the exchange platform, and that will certainly help you, and it will actually give you a certain cost which you are currently looking at. You can lock a cost even if it's 73 or 73.5 with the use of derivatives. So futures contract, forward contracts, options are the commonly used derivatives. So we will cover futures contract as well as options slightly, because options itself is a very vast topic. I would not be able to cover it today, but I'm sure you are studying it as well in your curriculum. So this is also one very good area where you can work on several strategies. So these are the functions of derivatives which I've just told you. The first one is the risk management. Risk can be reduced by buying a spot item and selling a futures contract or a call option. So if you are simultaneously buying a spot item, let's say you are buying currency from a dealer and then you are selling a futures contract, so you do not expect the currency to appreciate further. So you are selling a futures contract. So another important aspect is price discovery. You do not know what is going to be the currency derivatives next 3 months down the line. But yes, you have 3 months futures contract from where you can discover the price. This comes to very important use for any farmer also, any exporter also, any importer also. Because once you are entering into any deal, you do not know with certainty what is going to be the price 3 months down the line or 6 months down the line. So here, these derivatives come to your rescue and they help you in assessing at least, the prices cannot be stable after 3 months. There are a lot of dynamics which impact prices, but yes, with some assumptions, you can at least see what is going to be the price 3 months down the line, because you have 12-month contract here for the currency derivative segment. And with banks also, you have these facility in the forward contracts. So the price discovery is an important aspect. For a farmer also who wants to lock his crop sale, he at least have the prices for what is going to be the price for jeera or chana, or these are commodity derivatives. So at least he can consider a certain price which is reflecting in the 3 months futures contract. Operational advantages, the costs are quite lower as compared to the physical market. In terms of the physical market, when you are taking exposure, you have to shell out complete money. But in the case of derivatives, you only have to pay a margin. This is the beauty of derivatives. In case you are buying a Reliance share, let's say for 2,000 rupees, and in case you want to buy 100 shares, you have to shell out complete money. But yes, in the derivative segment, you have a fixed lot size and you do not have to pay complete money. You just have to pay a specified margin only. So this is the beauty of derivatives market. With a very less margin amount, you can speculate, you can hedge, or you can make returns in the market. So type of derivatives, we have forward contracts, we have futures contract. So forward contracts are like between two parties, a buyer and a seller. They agree to trade an asset at a future date at a predetermined price. So they are not standardized, they are not rigid in terms of their terms and conditions, and there is no counterparty risk. But in the case of futures contract, they are standardized, they are traded on exchange. So you do not have any counterparty risk because the exchange platform is involved. So they will be surely honored. So here also in case of futures, you agree to buy or sell a security, be it a stock or an indices or a currency derivative or a commodity, at a predetermined price and at a preset date. So let's say, for example, you are trading in USD INR pair. So your current expiry is 28th September. So you already have a preset date wherein this contract will expire. And the lot size, if you enter into one lot size, that is for $1,000. So your contract size is specified. You have a specific quantity, specific expiry date, and they are leveraged. Leveraged in the sense you do not have to pay complete 73 lakhs. No, you do not have to do that. You only have to shell out a margin for that, right? So examples of commodity futures are gold, silver, copper, crude, jeera, chana, or nickel, zinc. In case of stock futures, you have various shares, and the list is unending here. For index futures, in India, we have Nifty, Bank Nifty, Metaldex, Bulldex. For currency futures, we have USD INR, Euro INR. So we'll cover these in details later. So the third type is options. Options give the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell an underlying asset at an agreed upon price and date. So in terms of differences between futures and options, futures you are buying at a certain price. But here in case of options, you are paying only a premium to own that asset. So let's say if I talk about USD INR, you have different strike prices for options category. You have 73 strike, you have 73.25, you have 73.50, 73.75, and then 74. Similarly, you have 72.75 strike. So here you are not buying at a specific price which is trading in the market. Even if USD INR is currently trading at 73.5 mark, but still you have various options in case of the options contract. So you have various strike prices to choose from. Almost there are 25 strike prices which are available, and you do not have to enter into that contract to buy a futures. You only pay a certain amount of premium, which is very less. At times it is as low as 5 paise or 7 paise, or it can go up to 50 paise as well at the starting of the contract. So at the starting of the contract, the premiums are slightly higher. And as you come closer to the expiry date, the premium starts shrinking. So this is another area which is quite large, and I think quite interesting also to understand. So just let's have a look at options and futures, how they are slightly different. In case of futures contract, the buyer is obligated to honor the contract. But in case of options, there's no obligation on buyer to actually buy or sell. He can let the contract expire worthless as well. Here, in case of futures, contract seller has an obligation to sell, buy if the buyer exercises right. Here also, the contract seller has an obligation to sell or buy if the buyer exercises the right. Requires higher margin payment, but here you only have to pay only a certain amount of premium. So these are futures contract are basically preferred by speculators and arbitrageurs. These are preferred by hedgers. Those who have futures position also, they can also take a position in the options contract to hedge their risk in the futures market. In case of futures contract, you have unlimited and unlimited profit and unlimited loss potential. As I mentioned in the beginning, derivatives are a risky trading instrument, but yes, with options, you can certainly define your risk. You can enter into an options contract. If you're a buyer, if you're on the buyer side, you can certainly define your risk, and your risk is limited to the amount of premium that you have paid in the market. Even if market goes anywhere, it tanks 10% or 20%, or it rises by a huge amount, your risk is defined. You only have to pay a certain premium, and that is your entire risk, which is involved in the options segment. So let's understand who are the participants in the derivatives market. We can classify them into 3 categories. There are arbitrageurs, there are hedgers, there are speculators. I think speculators we have already understood. Hedgers is somebody who already has a position in any other market, be it physical market, or they have a position in the futures market. They can be importers, exporters in the currency derivative segment, or they can be students as well. And arbitrageurs are somebody who are taking advantage of the price mismatch between 2 different markets. So here we have NSE also, the platform NSE, National Stock Exchange, and we have BSE also. So the currency derivatives are trading on both the exchanges. So what arbitrageurs do they try to find the price difference between in case, let's say 73.50 is the current price of futures at NSE platform, at BSE, it could be 73.47 because there are buyers and sellers at different point in time. So there can, at some point of time, there can be a slight difference. So these arbitrators are those who try to find these kind of opportunities and they trade accordingly. And even you can do some calendar spreads also. That can also be called arbitrage. So inter-market spreads can be done. And you can also find the disparity between international markets and domestic markets. At times you calculate it basis the dollar index, how it is trading, and then you can also calculate the disparity between the prices which should be there in the futures market. And basis the spot market and the futures market also, you can find certain disparities, and that also can be used by these arbitrageurs. So now let's understand how derivatives are used in practice. It is very important to understand how risk management is done using derivatives. So this is a very important aspect, because this is a practical use besides speculation. See, normally participants here in the markets are speculators. But yes, in the futures segment, we have a huge client base of exporters and importers who really have the use of these hedging instruments. And we also have several importers and exporters who seek our advice on a regular basis. What is the trend going forward and how do we hedge our risk? Because any price movement, any price volatility impacts them in a very big way, because the order sizes are quite big, and even a 1 rupee change in the exchange rate impacts their profits, their balance sheets, especially for medium-sized enterprises or the big corporate. This currency hedging is a very important instrument, and you have separate treasury desk also with various corporates who manage these kind of risks. So they enter into contracts with banks as well as broking companies like us on the exchange platform. So as of now, till 2007, it was only the blanks platform which was available, because it was 2008 when these currency derivatives were launched. Before that, it was only the blanks platform which was available for hedging these risk in the currency market space. So let's see, an importer has ordered, let's say, some computer hardware or anything else from abroad, and he has to make a payment of USD 1 lakh after 3 months. So the 3 months future rate is 73. So he locks in that price. So he assumes that he would have to pay only 73 at the rate of 73. So he would be paying only 73 lakhs. So the scenario one is there is no change in the exchange rate, and he will only have to pay 73 lakhs USD to buy that contract for computer hardware. The scenario two is when the exchange rate rises to 74. It means the USD INR pair has risen while the Indian rupee has depreciated. So the importer will then have to pay 74 lakhs. So this amount can increase substantially if your order size is very big, if you're ordering a very big something. So here we have just shown a very small example where the difference is only of 1 lakh. It could go up to any amount. So the scenario three is the exchange rate falls to 72. So he would now have to make 1 lakh less payment. He would only have to pay 72 lakhs. So it could have come down to 71 also. He could have made less payment also, or it could have gone to 76 also. So this is the basic risk which is there for an importer. So what he does is he buys 100 futures contract. So what happens in that case? He is actually locking in his price at 73. Even if the exchange rate goes up to 74 or 75, what will happen? He will have to make a higher payment in the physical market. But yes, he would be making profits in the futures segment of the commensurate amount, and that will compensate for the loss in the physical market. So whatever is your exposure, according to that, you can take a position in the futures contract. So here he would be entering into 100 futures contract, and that way he is locking in a price of 73 only. So this is slightly technical to understand, but once you start dabbling with these currency derivative segment, it would become very easy to understand the nuances of this market. So now coming to another part, why Forex markets and why we study these Forex market and what is the purpose of organizing this session today. See, in India, we have the largest markets as the equity markets, and everybody is aware of the equity market space. But forex market globally, if you see, it's the second highest traded volume markets. And if you see the volumes in the forex market, it's a daily volume of $6.6 trillion. It's the most liquid market, financial market in the world, and is traded 24 hours a day. So talking about some stats, some interesting stats, it would take 30 days of trading on the New York Stock Exchange to equal 1 day of trading in the global forex market. That is the sheer size of volumes that the currency markets globally they attract. And here the US dollar is the most traded currency. It's called the vehicle currency of the world and forms almost 73% of the global forex rate. So it is normally on one side of the trade. If you see all of the global transactions, so almost 73% trades, they involve US dollar. And that's the reason it is of the foremost importance for us also. And that is the precise reason I've been mentioning 73.5 mark. We also have Euro INR, we have JPY INR or GBP INR. So that is the exchange rate versus these currencies. But in India, we normally speak about USD INR because that is something which anybody can understand easily. So currencies are very important necessity for central banks, for international trade, for global business, for travel requirements. And the 7 most traded currencies in the world are US dollar, the euro, the Japanese yen, the British pound, the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, and the New Zealand dollar. So these are the most important currencies in the world, and they are the most liquid currencies in the world. So let's see the Indian scenario and the global volume share. Globally, IRF is the biggest market. So you can see from the size of this chart, IRF is the biggest market. So that's the interest rate futures. The second biggest market is the currency market. The third one is commodities. And the fourth one is equities. So you can see equities are, if you in terms of the volumes, they are quite small. While in India, it's completely reverse. Equities occupy the maximum volumes. Second one is the commodity market, third is the currency market, and fourth is the interest rate futures. So the dynamics, I think, going forward are certainly likely to change as and when investors or students like you start to get understanding these currency derivative segment, because this is a huge market globally, and in India, the scenario is quite reverse. Once we penetrate I think there will be more participation in the market and the markets will become much more liquid. As of now, the average daily turnover in the NSE currency market is 90,000 crores, and in BSC platform, it's 27,000 crore. In India also, the currency derivative market is highly liquid, but yes, it's a huge path towards going to this platform wherein the currency markets are like the second biggest. So I think it will take a long time, but yes, we have a very bright future in terms of understanding currency futures and trading in the currency futures segment. So these are the participants in the forex market: commercial banks, central banks, exchange brokers, speculators, hedgers. So I think we have already discussed a bit about it, but in terms of these are also the biggest participants in the market. So the currency pairs which are traded in India, let's just have a look at these. The global scenario is different, but in India, we have 4 currency pairs, which are called the domestic pairs, and 3 cross pairs. The maximum volumes happen in these 4 pairs. Here we do not attract much volume because there is not much awareness about these. It's only for HNIs and corporates. And retail clients are basically trading in these 4 pairs. The first one is called USD INR. The second is Euro INR. So this represents Euro. This is GBP INR, that represents pound or sterling, or cable also. It's also called cable. And the fourth one is yen, JPY INR. So the underlying for Euro INR is spot rate of 1 euro in Indian rupees, and the lot size for Euro INR is 1,000. Another GBP INR, it's the spot rate for 1 GBP in Indian rupees. GBP INR is the second most traded contract in the currency segment, and the lot size is again 1,000, and it attracts the highest margin requirement because it is highly volatile. And the third one is JPY INR. Here the lot size is 1 lakh, and the underlying in JPY INR is the rate of 100 Japanese yen versus the Indian rupees. So it is a 24-hour market. The first one to open is Australasia. So Sydney, Tokyo, all of these countries open first. Then we have European markets, and India also. We open at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then we have the US markets, which open in the evening. So it's a continuous market, 24 hours a day, 5.5 days in a week. So every time somebody in the world is trading in the currency markets, as you can see. So what is exchange rate? Let's understand these basic terms which are used in the currency trading. So exchange rate is the rate at which you exchange one currency for another. I think I've already explained you, if we have to buy $1, we have to pay 73.5 currently, which is the spot rate for USD INR pair. And the smallest price change is called tick. If you see the smallest price change, that's 0.0025. If the currency moves from 74.8000, so it's in 4 decimal places, it moves to 74.8025. So that is 1 tick, 0.0025. So what is appreciation and depreciation in currency? Most people get confused with this because we trade in USD INR, but we are talking about the Indian currency predominantly. So once USD INR changes from 74 to 75, what has happened? It means USD has appreciated while INR has depreciated, because now we have to pay 75 rupees to buy $1. While on the other hand, in case USD INR comes down from 74 to 73, even though USD INR has come down, but it means rupee has appreciated. So we have to shell out only 73 rupees to buy $1. So that is appreciation for Indian rupee. In last 1 year, we have seen that Indian rupee depreciated to record lows of 76.9. But yes, recently it has appreciated. This year also it depreciated towards 75.50 mark. But yes, for last few trading sessions, it has been on an appreciation bias, and we have seen a good amount of appreciation in the Indian rupee. So all because the domestic equity indices have been scaling record highs. We'll understand the macroeconomic fundamentals also, which impact the currency movement going forward in this session. So let's understand some more nuances of these markets, how any dealer or a student or an investor can operate in these markets. So these are certain practical things to understand. While we're talking about the USD INR pair, what is USD and what is INR? USD is the base currency and this is the quote currency. That means INR is quoted versus the USD. Similar is the case for Euro INR. We are quoting INR versus Euro. So Euro is the base currency for GBP INR also. GBP is the base currency and INR is the quote currency. So this is, if you see on the screen, you can check investing.com, you can check various websites or TradingView. So these are the popular websites, FX Street, FX Mantras. There are several websites which you can check and you can find these quotes while the markets are on. At the moment, markets are closed. Monday, once you are back to college, you can check. This is the bid and this is the ask price. So somebody is trying to buy at 74.80 mark and somebody is trying to sell at this level. So any buyer, somebody who's a buyer in the market would always try to buy cheap, while a seller would always like to sell something at a higher price. Same is the case, let's say you're buying an iPhone, you would always want to buy it at a lower price. And somebody who is selling, you would always expect to get a higher price. So bid is somebody who is trying to buy and ask is somebody who's asking for that price. So here also you can see the base and the quote prices. This is a kind of order book once you are trying to place an order, how the buy quantity and the sell quantity will reflect to you. And you will also see how many buyers and sellers are there for bid and ask category. So this is called the order book. So now coming to the contract specifications and how do we trade in these futures market. We have understood the basic terms and how the prices are there. But what are the contract specifications? Because in case of futures segment, you always have to trade in a certain specified lot size. You cannot buy like कि मेरा मन कर रहा है मैं इतने buy कर लूँ. No, you can always buy that quantity, but आपको accordingly उसी lot size के accordingly buy करना होगा. So USD INR की बात करते हैं जो predominant हमारा contract है. That's 1000 USD. The unit of trading is 1000 USD. So even if you want to buy $10,000, it is allowed, certainly allowed, but you will have to buy more. So you will have to buy 10 lots for that case, right? So similar is the case for Euro INR. You have $1,000 contract, Euro contract, and here you have 1,000 pounds sterling. Here the contract size is different. It's 1 lakh Japanese yen. So the exchange rate in Indian rupees for US dollars. So all of these contracts are settled on a certain specific expiry date and they are all settled in Indian rupee terms. In case you are settling your contract, you are making some money or you're losing some money, it is always settled in Indian rupees. So it means it is cash settled. It doesn't mean that you will take delivery. Even if you're buying a futures contract here in India, the currency derivative segments are not deliverable. You would not get the physical dollars once you're settling your contract. You will only be cash settled in Indian rupees. And it's a 12-month trading cycle. You all have all the contracts which are available. Far month contracts are available. So they are available for next 12 months. And the expiry date is the last trading day for any contract is 2 working days prior to the last business day of the expiry month, right? At 12:30 p.m. they expire at that time. And tick size we have already spoken about. It is also called PIP, percentage in point. So 1 PIP means rupees 2.5 per lot. So this is very important to understand how any price change impacts you. So any PIP change or any tick size change means rupees 2.5 per lot. So that's a very small amount, and that's the reason we have covered this segment today, because the amount that is involved and something which you can easily practically also try and trade to understand more about the derivative segment before you actually dabble with the equity markets and the equity derivative segment. So this is one area where you can gain exposure, gain knowledge, and then only go full out with the equity derivative segment. So you have different expiries. As you can see, these are monthly expiry, and we also have weekly expiries. So this is something information which you can actually check on the NSE website. It is freely available to you. You can see the volumes, the expiry dates, what is the current price, what is it last change, what kind of volumes are available there. So every information is available on the website of NSE. So now understanding how we actually deploy our money in the markets. So this is a very simple thing to understand. See, what is derivative? Derivative is something which has an underlying asset, and it is based on that underlying asset. So you have physically you have this USD INR exchange rate, but now you are trading in a derivative of that. And for derivatives, you only have to pay a certain margin. You do not have to shell out complete money. Let's say for buying one contract, 73,000 is the complete amount that you would have to pay in case you want to own one contract, but you do not have to pay that. In spite of paying 73,000 for owning $1,000, you do not have to do that. You just have to pay a margin, which is just 2.48%. That comes out to approximately, with the current price, rupees 1850. Yes, it's true. You only have to pay rupees 1850 to gain exposure to one lot of USD INR that represents $1,000. For Euro INR, you have to pay a margin of around 2.5%. With the current price, which is hovering around 87.5, you have to pay 2,200 kind of amount. For GBP INR, similar, the requirements are slightly higher because it's a volatile contract. The exchange has specified slightly higher margin requirement. These margins keep on changing, but largely they gravitate around these levels only. In case there is heightened volatility in the markets, the exchange specifies the revised margins, the additional margins which are imposed. So here, let's understand how it impacts you, your profit and loss. So 1 tick, as I've explained, it means a profit or a loss of rupees 2.5. So in case you are working in 10 lots, normally people start with 10 lots. So that means 1 tick is impacting you by rupees 25. So 4 tick is 1 paisa because 0.0025, 4 ticks is 1 paisa. So 1 tick means for 1 lot, rupees 10, and for 10 lots, it rupees 100. So I think it's clear to you. This is very important to understand कि कितनी मूवमेंट आई मैं आपको बता देती हूँ थोड़ा सा सिंपल लैंग्वेज में भी. अगर 73.50 से 73.70 हो जाता है हमारा USD INR पेयर, सो आपका प्रॉफिट लॉस कितना होगा आप अकॉर्डिंगली देख सकते हैं. एक लॉट में आपका सिर्फ 200 रुपए का चेंज आएगा. सिमिलरली इफ यू आर बाइंग और सेलिंग 10 लॉट्स, आपको 2000 रुपए का प्रॉफिट या लॉस होगा. डिपेंड्स कि आप बाय कर रहे हैं या सेल कर रहे हैं. अगर आपने 73.50 पे लेट्स से USD INR को बाय किया और आपने 73.70 पे उसको सेल किया, तो क्या होगा, आपको मार्केट में सिर्फ 18,500 रुपए देने पड़ेंगे अगर आपने 10 लॉट में काम किया है, और आपको प्रॉफिट कितना होगा 2,000 रुपए का. सो यू कैन सी द रिटर्न्स यहाँ पे भी बहुत हाई हैं. आपने सिर्फ 18 से 20,000 रुपए लगाए थे और आपको 2,000 रुपए का अगर प्रॉफिट होता है, दैट मीन्स एक सिंगल ट्रेड में देयर इज अ पोटेंशियल कि आपको 10% तक का भी प्रॉफिट हो सकता है. डिपेंड्स कि आपकी क्या स्ट्रैटेजी है. इससे ज्यादा भी हो सकता है, इससे कम भी हो सकता है. अगर आप 10 पैसे में निकल जाते हैं प्रॉफिट करके बाहर, यू एग्जिट द मार्केट, आपको 1,000 रुपए का प्रॉफिट होगा. बट डिपेंड्स कि आपका मोटिव कितना है. शॉर्ट टर्म मोटिव है ट्रेडिंग का, लॉन्गर टर्म है, या आप एक इंपोर्टर या एक्सपोर्टर हैं जो लॉन्गर टर्म के लिए अपनी पोजीशन को हेज कर रहे हैं. So it all depends on your perspective, your appetite for risk and your expectations from the market कि आप expect कर रहे हैं मार्केट ऊपर जाएगी या मार्केट नीचे जाएगी. It depends on lot of dynamics, lot of variables कि किस तरीके से मार्केट चलती है. You have to understand lot of factors before trading. But yes, this is the calculation. तो जो मैंने आपको भी बताया, यहाँ पे भी आप दोबारा भी देख सकते हैं. अगर आपकी 30 पैसे की मूवमेंट आई 74, 70 से 75 की, आपको 3,000 रुपए का प्रॉफिट होगा 10 लॉट में. आपने सिमिलरली अपनी पोजीशन साइज को बढ़ा दिया, 50 लॉट्स में काम किया, तो आपको 15,000 का प्रॉफिट होगा अगर आपको 30 पैसे की मूवमेंट आप कैप्चर कर पाए हैं. और उसी तरीके से अगर आपने 100 लॉट में काम किया तो 30,000 तक का प्रॉफिट हो सकता है. ये सब डिपेंड करेगा आपके रिस्क एपेटाइट पे, आप कितना काम करना चाहते हैं. इसमें भी इंट्राडे में not just our company, Religare Broking, there are several other broking companies who provide you an intraday leverage also. So that can be 2x or 3x or 4x also. आपको मार्जिन पे भी इंट्राडे लेवरेज मिलती है. लेवरेज मीन्स आप जितना मार्जिन रिक्वायरमेंट एक्सचेंज ने स्पेसिफाई किया है, आपको जो ब्रोकर है आपका वो उससे भी ज्यादा इंट्राडे में लेवरेज दे रहा है. तो आप एक लॉट आप 1830 रुपए पे कर रहे हैं, तो आप 2 लॉट में भी काम कर सकते हैं. इसका मतलब ये होता है डिपेंड्स फ्रॉम कंपनी टू कंपनी, आप 4 लॉट में भी कर सकते हैं, आप 5 में भी कर सकते हैं. काफी सारी कंपनीज हैं, बट कंपनी लाइक अस हु बिलीव इन स्ट्रिक्ट कंप्लायंस, वी प्रोवाइड ओनली 2 times लिमिट सो दैट लोग ओवर ट्रेडिंग ना करें. एंड देयर आर कंपनीज लाइक Zerodha और अदर्स आल्सो हु आर आल्सो प्रोवाइडिंग सिमिलर लिमिट्स. सो हियर आल्सो द कैलकुलेशन इज इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. द करंट प्राइस इज ऑलमोस्ट अराउंड 87.20. So if you multiply it with 1,000, so your amount comes out to be 87,000. So that is the amount for one lot. Similar is the case for GBP INR. It's currently quoting at 101.80. ये आपका जो प्राइस है that is with respect to INR. अगर आपको GBP खरीदना है, पाउंड खरीदना है let's say, तो आपको 101 रुपए 80 पैसे देने पड़ेंगे. और अगर आप फ्यूचर्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में काम कर रहे हैं तो आपको सिर्फ मार्जिन पे करना पड़ेगा, आपको पूरा अमाउंट पे नहीं करना पड़ेगा. दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ डेरिवेटिव्स मार्केट. यू डू नॉट हैव टू शेल आउट 1 lakh rupees to buy 1,000 GBP. You only have to pay a margin of 3.48%, so which is very less to gain exposure to that. So now understanding a bit about dollar index. What is dollar index? See, currency markets basically are governed by dollar index. हमने अभी ये समझा कि क्या कॉन्ट्रैक्ट स्पेसिफिकेशंस हैं, हमारी मार्केट कितनी बड़ी है, क्यों लोग इसमें ट्रेड करते हैं, क्या पर्सपेक्टिव होते हैं. अब थोड़ा सा ग्लोबल पर्सपेक्टिव को समझ लेते हैं कि ग्लोबली क्या होता है और किस तरीके से मार्केट चलती है. ग्लोबली अगर देखें तो प्रीडोमिनेंट फैक्टर जो करेंसी मार्केट्स को ड्राइव करता है दैट इज डॉलर इंडेक्स. इट इज अ मेजर ऑफ द वैल्यू ऑफ डॉलर इंडेक्स वर्सेस अ बास्केट ऑफ करेंसीज. हम यहाँ पे 6 अदर करेंसीज को देखते हैं जो यूएस के मेजर ट्रेडिंग पार्टनर्स हैं. उसके रिलेटिव हमने एक इंडेक्स बनाया है जो ग्रेविटेट करता रहता है और उसके अकॉर्डिंगली पूरी मार्केट्स में फ्लक्चुएशन देखने को मिलती है. यूएस डॉलर क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? यूएस डॉलर सिर्फ करेंसी मार्केट्स के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. यूएस डॉलर इक्विटी मार्केट्स के लिए भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, यूएस डॉलर कमोडिटी मार्केट्स के लिए भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, और यूएस डॉलर करेंसी मार्केट्स के लिए भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. जब भी हम यूएस डॉलर में बहुत ज्यादा एप्रिसिएशन आते हुए देखते हैं, वो इक्विटी मार्केट्स के लिए काफी नेगेटिव होती है, कमोडिटीज के लिए भी नेगेटिव होती है, और यूएसडी INR पेयर के लिए पॉजिटिव होती है, बट इंडियन रुपी के लिए काफी नेगेटिव हो जाती है। इसका मतलब है यहाँ पे अगर यूएस डॉलर में बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेंथ आ रही है तो इंडिया से पैसा बाहर निकलेगा। अभी अगर हमने लास्ट ईयर से देखें, आप सबके दिमाग में ये क्वेश्चन आता होगा, व्हाई इंडियन इक्विटीज हैव सर्ज्ड टू दीज न्यू रिकॉर्ड हाइज। In every other day, they are making new highs, they are scaling new record highs, and they are moving into uncharted territory. So the primary reason is the huge monetary and fiscal liquidity infusion. Central banks around the globe last year, because of the pandemic, they infused a lot of money into the markets, and that was the primary reason because of this, which there is ample liquidity in the markets, and markets have been moving higher and higher. After that, what happened? US dollar tanked significantly last year, and that resulted in huge upside that we witnessed in the domestic equity markets as well as the global equity markets. And interest rates were also slashed in the US. So US is the most important markets for understanding our markets, how the inflows are coming in and how the outflows are there. So in case the US dollar tanks, there are a lot of portfolio inflows that come into the domestic equities and the debt market, and that leads to appreciation of the Indian rupee, and that buoys the Indian equity markets. So it's very important to understand US dollar, how it is behaving and how it is reacting to the monetary and fiscal policies of the US Federal Reserve. So these are the 6 top currencies which are the trading partners of US, which form the value for US dollar index. So US, it involves euro, it involves Swiss franc, Japanese yen, Canadian dollar, British pound, and Swedish krona. The value of dollar index is a fair indication of dollar's value in the global markets and is very important to understand. You can see the weightage also for dollar index. The maximum weightage is of euro, which is the most important trading partner for US. The second value, you can see the rest of the partners. You have the second value for Japanese yen, British pound, Canadian dollar, Swedish krona, and Swiss franc. So the 4 most important is euro. So it is the second largest traded currency in the world. So now whatever we have understood, let me just summarize how it works. जब भी हम USD INR की बात करते हैं और डॉलर इंडेक्स को साथ में देखते हैं, so इसका इम्प्लीकेशन क्या निकलता है? जब भी डॉलर इंडेक्स बढ़ रहा है, वो USD INR पेयर के लिए पॉजिटिव है, बट निफ्टी के लिए नेगेटिव है और रुपी के लिए भी नेगेटिव है। अगर हम वहीं यूरो INR की बात कर रहे हैं, डॉलर इंडेक्स बढ़ रहा है, सो यूरो INR के लिए नेगेटिव रहेगा, बट यूरो USD पेयर के लिए पॉजिटिव रहेगा। सो दिस इज द कोरिलेशन बिटवीन दीज करेंसी पेयर्स। एंड जब भी डॉलर इंडेक्स बढ़ता है, हमारी डोमेस्टिक इक्विटी इंडाइसेस पे काफी नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट होता है। और इसके साथ साथ इन दिस चार्ट मैं आपको ये दिखाना चाहती हूँ कि हाउ निफ्टी एंड USD INR आर क्लोजली रिलेटेड and how there is a complete inverse correlation. See, जब भी USD INR पेयर बढ़ रहा है, that means डॉलर इंडेक्स बढ़ रहा है और हमारी कंट्री से आउटफ्लोज हो रहे हैं। रुपी डेप्रिशिएट कर रहा है, तो क्या मतलब हो रहा है? हमारी इकोनॉमी वीक हो रही है, तभी हमारा रुपी डेप्रिशिएट कर रहा है और हमारी इक्विटी इंडाइसेस के लिए भी वो नेगेटिव हो जाता है। बट वहीं अगर हम देखें तो अभी जैसे निफ्टी काफी बढ़ रही है, तो रुपी हैज स्टार्टेड टू एप्रिशिएट। सो इट्स अ कंप्लीट इनवर्स कोरिलेशन। यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखेंगे तो इक्विटीज बढ़ रही हैं, USD INR पेयर नीचे जा रहा है। USD INR और रुपी में आप कंफ्यूज प्लीज मत होइएगा, बिकॉज ये बहुत ज्यादा कंफ्यूजन काफी लोगों को रहती है। रुपी इज अ बैरोमीटर हमारी इंडियन इकोनॉमी का। इंडियन इकोनॉमी अगर स्ट्रेंथन हो रही है तो रुपी भी स्ट्रेंथन होगा, एप्रिशिएट करेगा और हमारी डोमेस्टिक इक्विटी इंडाइसेस भी पॉजिटिव रहेगी। बट इसका रिवर्स इम्प्लीकेशन होता है कि USD INR बढ़ रहा है। USD INR जब बढ़ रहा है तो रुपी डेप्रिशिएट हो रहा है, इंडियन इकोनॉमी स्लाइटली वीकन हो रही है, ग्रोथ रेट्स कम हो रहे हैं और इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ रही है, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बढ़ रही है। सो हमारा फिस्कल डेफिसिट बढ़ रहा है प्रॉबेबली, और करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट बढ़ रहा है। सो बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होते हैं जो, और इसका मतलब हमारी कंट्री से आउटफ्लोज हो रहे हैं, डॉलर बाहर निकल रहा है हमारी कंट्री से। जब डॉलर हमारी कंट्री में आएगा, ऑब्वियसली इनफ्लोज होंगे, तो क्या होगा? डॉलर एक्सेसिव में हो जाएगा एंड उस केस में रुपी एप्रिशिएट करेगा। जब भी जिस चीज का एक्सेस हो जाता है, ऑब्वियसली उसके प्राइसेस कम हो जाते हैं। सो जब भी पोर्टफोलियो इनफ्लोज आते हैं, सिंपल लैंग्वेज में इसको समझे तो इसका मतलब डॉलर आ रहे हैं हमारी कंट्री में, सो that will lead to an appreciation of Indian rupee. So these are the primary factors which affect our rupee movement. I would not delve much into these because this is a very vast topic, but you can certainly see FII flows, which I've just spoken about, IIP numbers, industrial production numbers, current account deficit, our buffer of forex reserves, which are currently at record highs. We have a very strong buffer of forex reserve. That is also one reason rupee has been appreciating. India's GDP growth, very important factor. RBI's monetary policy. RBI has been cutting interest rates. Last year, it has cut down interest rates significantly. And even now, RBI has not indicated to hike interest rates. So they are continuing with their loose monetary policy at the moment. I don't think they are likely to hike interest rates anytime soon. So this is one very positive factor for equity movements, equity markets, positive momentum. And then you have global central bank's decision, as I just highlighted about the Fed interest rate decision, and movement in dollar index, which we have already covered, and international oil and gold prices. I think everybody is certainly aware how petrol prices and diesel prices have been rising. So this is one very important area, how oil prices impact the currency movement. Whenever oil prices start to rise, that leads to a huge current account deficit because we largely import oil, and that leads to a lot of pressure on our domestic currency. Similarly, when gold prices tend to rise, that also impacts INR in a negative way. Besides global domestic political factors, any important elections or any war-like scenario, that also impacts INR in a very big way. So I'm just skipping this site. This is the difference between OTC market and the exchange traded market. I've already elaborated a bit about this, but in just one line, in OTC market, it's the bank's platform. Here you do not have any transparency. All the banks quote different prices. But in exchange platform, the best important thing to look forward is extreme transparency. You get one price which is available anywhere, be it on the NSE website, be it from a broker's website. We also have our app Dynami or our website. You can see it would be one single price which would be reflected. But in case of banks, if a customer calls, they quote different prices. They keep a lot of margin for themselves. And so there is huge discrimination between large clients and small clients. So depending on the ticket size of the clients, they kind of keep varying their quotes. So there is a huge difference between bid and ask spread also. So at the moment, futures market is much more liquid and much more transparent, but still people prefer trading with OTC market only because of the reason they already have their banking accounts with several banks. So most of the importers and exporters are still accessing the OTC platform. It's over-the-counter OTC market, that is called. So 5 reasons why one should be trading in currency markets. We have taken this segment today. Why? Because currencies is one segment which any student can also start with to understand the word of this derivatives. Here, the volatility and the margins are quite less as compared to domestic equity indices. In case of trading USD INR pair, you only need a margin of 2.48%, while in case of Nifty, you need a margin of around 12.6%. So similarly, equity margins can be used to trade currencies. If a client or an investor is already trading in the equity segment, or let's say your parents already have an exposure in the equity segment, you can, with the same money, you can start trading in the currency segment, even if you can start trading in 1 lot or 5 lot just to gain exposure, or you can even do some paper trading to gain experience, how prices are behaving. So start tracking the prices. You will start to understand the word of derivatives in a very, very good way. In fact, it would be very easy for you to understand. And you have a lot of options here. You have monthly and weekly options in USD INR, which provide ample opportunities, and they are very less volatile as compared to equity index. The daily volatility is 0.36%, while in case of Nifty 50, it's 1.49%. And the factors here are very simple as compared to equity markets. See, in equity markets, while trading in a specific share or a script, you have to understand the balance sheet, the earnings figure, the dividend announcement, or any split or any bonus which is being announced. So you have to understand which segment the company is operating in, how it is faring, as compared to its peers in the industry. So it's a very big market, but here the fundamentals are relatively very simple. It's basically the global economic, macroeconomic factors which impact USD INR pair, and they are very similar to what is impacting equity markets on overall basis. Not drilling down to the specific share, but the macroeconomic factors remain the same for equity markets as well as for the currency market. Be it the crude oil movement or the interest rate movement or the dollar index movement. So all of these variables are same. All of these variables are same in the equity markets as well as in the currency markets. So now coming to just last 1 or 2 slides are left, I think, where we would just be finishing this. So it's getting, I think, slightly technical for you, but how to trade and what is going to be your view in the market, it depends on basis the macroeconomic factors, what are happening. So as you can see that domestic markets are kind of moving on a very strong pace, and we have also kind of recovered quite smartly from the pandemic. Economic activity is picking up. There are a lot of inflows in the market. So that is the reason rupee has been appreciating and there is a lot of liquidity in the markets. So based on that, you can take a long or short view. So at the moment, the trend which was prevailing was short. But for last 2 trading sessions, we have seen some appreciation in USD INR pair, all because of the movement in dollar index. So depending on that, depending on the overall macroeconomic landscape, you can certainly take a position, and that can be either going on the long side or the short side, or you can take positions in the option segment. It could be a spread, it could be a straddle, it could be a strangle, or you can take advantage of the mispricing between the foreign currency pairs or the foreign currency vis-a-vis the INR pairs. So these are the cross currency futures which we somehow did not cover much. So globally we have Euro USD, we have GBP USD, we have JPY USD, and several other pairs which are there. And there is foreign currency to foreign currency risk also, which is there. Somebody who is trading in US dollar as well as in euro, at that point of time, INR is not involved. But once you are exchanging it with your banks, certainly INR will be involved because we are here, we are Indian residents. So there is foreign currency to foreign currency risk. USD may be appreciating vis-a-vis euro also. Even if it's depreciating against INR, it may be appreciating vis-a-vis euro. So you have to understand these cross-currency futures also while you are trading in the domestic pairs. So corporate can work on different strategies based on these hedging requirements. And there are arbitrages, you have options, you have futures. So a lot of trading strategies can be done here. So that is the reason I was saying that you can certainly start with these markets and just start tracking from these free websites like investing.com, tradingview.com to gain more knowledge and more insights about the currency derivative segment. And you also have the exchange platform, NSE website, DSC website. Here also the prices and these pairs on a daily basis, the bid ask is clearly available. You can just start tracking and do paper trading. So as you can see, this is a major resource for me as well. I also keep reading from these websites, and they provide a huge source of information about various economic data which are about to be released and how they are leading to a lot of volatility in the markets. Any important data which is coming out from the markets, like inflation figures or any interest rate decisions, they immediately impact the movement, and that is something we have to capture. Why we have to capture that? Because that will give you profit if you are on the right side of the trade. So understanding these economic data releases is very important. It's imperative because unless and until you are aware of these, you cannot trade in these markets. So it takes a lot of time to understand before gaining knowledge. It is not advisable to dabble with these markets because they are risky instruments. So this is all from my side. I think I have been able to add some value to whatever your faculty members are already teaching you. And I think you all are poised to grab the wonderful opportunities that this entire ecosystem of financial markets have to offer. So this is all from my side. Now I open the floor for any questions that you have regarding the markets.
Yes, ma'am, that was so informative and useful. Now the participants can type their questions or doubts in the chat box, which will be duly answered by ma'am. Ma'am, shall I read the questions or doubts asked by the participants, or you will do it yourself?
Yeah. Anything works for me. I think I can read myself.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. The first question is from Shivam. Shivam, thanks for your question. See, arbitrages are those who are taking advantage of the mispricing between two different markets. As I explained to you, there can be some mispricing vis-a-vis. I'll give you an example. Let's say Euro USD is quoting at 1.18 and USD INR is quoting at 73.5 and Euro INR is quoting at 87.50. So what happens is, basis Euro USD, you have to calculate what should be the price in the futures market for Euro INR pair. So that is the primary, I would say the underlying asset from which we derive the prices, Euro USD pair. But since INR is always involved, so you have to look at the INR price also. So there can be at times certain mispricing vis-a-vis what is the theoretical price. आपका theoretical price कुछ और आ सकता है, suppose let's say 87.40 आ रहा है, but futures market में अभी वो 87.50 पे ट्रेड कर रहा है. आपने कैलकुलेशन की, वो प्राइस आया, बट फ्यूचर्स में प्राइस हायर कोट कर रहा है. आपको नजर आया एक बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट हो रही है. मैं अगर यहाँ पे शॉर्ट करता हूँ, इस केस में एक आर्बिट्राजर जो होगा वो क्या करेगा, इस मिस प्राइसिंग का एडवांटेज लेगा और यूरो INR पेयर को डोमेस्टिक मार्केट्स में शॉर्ट करेगा, क्योंकि थियोरेटिकल प्राइस जो कैलकुलेशन बनती है वो बनती है 87.40, बट मार्केट क्या यहाँ ट्रेड कर रही है 87.50 पे. सो ही विल शॉर्ट दैट पेयर बिकॉज उसको डेफिनेटली थियोरेटिकल प्राइस जो आ रहा है उस पर कन्वर्ज करना पड़ेगा. सो ये एक आर्बिट्राजर नॉर्मली करते हैं और ऐसा अपॉर्चुनिटीज बहुत बार क्रिएट होती हैं. एंड इट इज नॉट जस्ट कि ये इंटरनेशनल प्लेयर्स के साथ क्रिएट होती हैं, ये कई बार BSE और NSE के प्लेटफॉर्म पे भी क्रिएट हो सकती हैं. इसका रीजन बताती हूँ ये मिस प्राइसिंग क्यों होती है. सी NSE पे एक प्राइस कोट कर रहा है, हमारा आइडियल प्राइस लेट्स से 73.65 होना चाहिए बिकॉज हमारा स्पॉट वहां ट्रेड कर रहा है, तो हमारा फ्यूचर्स उसके अकॉर्डिंगली ट्रेड करना चाहिए. बट क्योंकि बायर्स और सेलर्स BSE में अलग है और NSE में अलग है, सो क्या होगा कि BSE वाला अगर देखेगा कि NSE में तो इतने पे कोट कर रहा है और यहाँ पे लेट्स से 73.67 है, तो वो इमीडिएटली उसको बाय करेगा. एंड आर्बिट्राजर्स नॉर्मली बहुत ज्यादा वॉल्यूम्स में काम करते हैं. सो वॉल्यूम्स में काम करने से उनको जो स्लाइट भी प्राइस वेरिएशन होता है उससे बहुत ज्यादा बेनिफिट होता है. एंड कॉन्स्टेंटली दे आर फाइंडिंग दीज mispricing between different market segment. I hope I am clear. Once you start dabbling with these markets, आपको ये और ज़्यादा clear हो जाएगा. But ये opportunities बहुत ज़्यादा create होती हैं.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's clear.
So I think there was one more question which I saw. Dr. Goel, can you just see what was the question? I think I missed that.
Yeah, I think Ritika, I guess.
Ma'am, Shivam asked question when you were speaking. That was, ma'am, how we can log costs through derivatives.
Okay, very good question. मैंने स्टार्टिंग में समझाया भी था, बट मैं दोबारा से पूरे एग्जाम्पल के साथ हमने इसको समझा भी था. जो इम्पोर्टर वाला हमने एग्जाम्पल कवर किया था उसको थोड़ा सा और सिंप्लीफाई कर देती हूँ. आज आपको लेट्स से बाहर से आईफोन लेना है. मैं एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल दे देती हूँ एज ए स्टूडेंट. लेट्स से आपको आईफोन लेना है और उसकी प्राइस अभी लेट्स से 85,000 है और हमारा USD INR आपको लेट्स से अभी 2 महीने बाद लेना है. आपका मन है आईफोन लेने का, बट अभी वो $1,000 लेट्स से कोट कर रहा है या लेट्स से $1,200 कोट कर रहा है. आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज द प्राइस इंटरनेशनली, सो स्पेयर मी इफ आई एम रॉन्ग ऑन दैट. सो लेट्स से $1,000 ट्रेड कर रहा है टू सिंप्लीफाई द एग्जाम्पल. अभी हमारा USD INR 73.5 पे है. आपने सोच लिया आपको 73,500 रुपीज देने पड़ेंगे 2 महीने बाद. आपने अपने फादर से लेट्स से मांगे कि मुझे इतने पैसे चाहिए होंगे 2 महीने बाद. अब 2 महीने बाद अगर हमारा एक्सचेंज रेट 73.5 से 75.5 हो जाता है, तो आपको एक आईफोन में बहुत ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं आएगा, बट 2,000 रुपए का डिफरेंस आएगा ना. आपको अपने फादर से 2,000 रुपए एक्स्ट्रा लेने पड़ेंगे कि डैड मुझे एक आईफोन लेना है, अब आप मुझे 75,500 दे दो. तो आपके डैड क्वेश्चन करेंगे कि क्यों, आपने तो पहले 73,500 बोले थे. तो यहाँ पे उसको लॉक करने के लिए आप क्या करोगे? आपको $1000 चाहिए थे, आप क्या करोगे? आप सिर्फ एक सिंगल लॉट में एक्सचेंज प्लेटफॉर्म पे उसको बाय करोगे, क्योंकि आप एक बायर हैं। सो आप यहाँ पे एक्सचेंज में सिर्फ एक लॉट बाय करेंगे। एक लॉट क्यों करेंगे? क्योंकि आपको सिर्फ $1000 की रिक्वायरमेंट है। अगर आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट ज्यादा होती तो आप ज्यादा लॉट करते। यहाँ पे आप एक्सचेंज में सिर्फ एक लॉट बाय करेंगे। अब अगर 2 महीने बाद वो 73.5 हो जाता है तो आपको एक्सचेंज में $2000 मिल जाएंगे और वो $2000 का आपको नेट प्रॉफिट हो जाएगा। अब आपको जब आईफोन खरीदना है, आपको एक्स्ट्रा पैसे तो देने पड़ रहे हैं, बट सेम अमाउंट का आपको यहाँ पे प्रॉफिट हो गया। तो आपने क्या किया? आपने 73.5 पे अपनी कॉस्ट को लॉक कर लिया। अब हम दूसरा सिनारियो कंसिडर करते हैं। अब वो 73.5 से 71.5 हो गया, लेट्स से 2 महीने बाद। अब आपने तो उसको बाय कर रखा था, अब आपको फ्यूचर्स में लॉस हो जाएगा $2000 का। वहां तो लॉस हुआ, बट जब आपको आईफोन मार्केट से खरीदना पड़ेगा तो आपको 71,500 रुपीज देने पड़ेंगे। तो आपको वहां प्रॉफिट हो गया, बट यहाँ पे लॉस हुआ। बट आपकी कॉस्ट कहाँ है? आपकी कॉस्ट अभी भी 73,500 ही है। आपने एक प्राइस को लॉक कर लिया है। आप चाहे मार्केट इधर जाए या उधर जाए, करेंसी का एक्सचेंज रेट कहीं भी जाए, आपकी कॉस्ट फिक्स्ड हो चुकी है 73,500। सो आप एक्सचेंज प्लेटफॉर्म को यूज करते हैं अपने प्राइस रिस्क को मिटिगेट करने के लिए। आई होप इट इज क्लियर। अगर आपको नहीं क्लियर, मैं दोबारा से किसी और एग्जांपल से समझा देती हूँ।
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's clear.
ओके,
Ma'am, there is another question by Ritik Gupta in the chat box.
ओके।
It is a long one. Is the route to invest in derivatives same as of other securities? Like, do we have to open any other specific account for that?
अगर आपका इक्विटी अकाउंट है तो आप उसी अकाउंट से करेंसी में भी ट्रेड कर सकते हैं। आपको एक सेपरेट अकाउंट खोलने की जरूरत नहीं है। अगर इक्विटी का अकाउंट नहीं है तो आपको डेफिनेटली एक नया अकाउंट खोलना पड़ेगा। आपके पास एक सेगमेंट एक्टिवेशन का ऑप्शन होता है। आप किसी भी कंपनी में ट्रेड करें, चाहे हमारी कंपनी में करें या कहीं पे भी करें, आपके पास एक सेगमेंट एक्टिव, अगर आप स्टार्टिंग में आप नया अकाउंट खोल रहे हैं तो आप स्टार्टिंग में ही सारे सेगमेंट्स को एक्टिवेट कर सकते हैं। अदरवाइज अगर एक एग्जिस्टिंग अकाउंट है तो आप अपने ऑनलाइन आपकी जो ऐप है उस पर जाके एक ऑप्शन मिलेगा आपको सेगमेंट एक्टिवेशन का। उसमें आपको एट टाइम्स कुछ प्रूफ सबमिट करने होते हैं या एक ऑनलाइन फॉर्म होता है, उस पर आपको साइन अपने देने होते हैं, डिजिटल सिग्नेचर्स। उसके थ्रू आपका वो एक्टिवेट हो जाता है। रेलिगर में ये प्रोसेस बहुत सिंपल है। यू जस्ट हैव टू रिक्वेस्ट एंड इट्स डन विद इन 24 आवर्स। अगर आपका इक्विटी में अकाउंट है, उसी सेम मार्जिन से आप करेंसी में ट्रेड कर सकते हैं। आपको और पैसे डालने की जरूरत नहीं होती है।
Ma'am, there are two more questions.
Yeah, please.
One by Shivam. He's asking, ma'am, what could be the underlying assets in a derivatives more importantly?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Please come again.
What could be the underlying assets in a derivatives more importantly?
Underlying assets, which I think I'm not able to get. I think this question is not phrased properly or what.
Ma'am, I think you should look at it in the chat box.
I can't see that question. Can you just send it to me again? Type it again. I don't know why I'm not able to see.
Yes, ma'am.
I was able to see earlier. I think there is some issue with the question. Let me. Okay. Just, ma'am, what could be the underlying assets in a derivative? The last part I still missed. Okay. The underlying assets could be various. It could be gold. Gold is traded in the physical market. So we have gold futures. So we have Reliance futures. We have Delta Corp. You have Adani. You have so many shares, Infosys, Wipro. So these are what is happening. We are trading in these shares. और इनके जो futures होते हैं या इनकी options होती हैं, they are called derivatives. Similarly, currency segment की बात करते हैं तो हमारे जो फिजिकल में अगर हम देखते हैं, हम जब डॉलर एक्सचेंज कर रहे हैं या यूरो खरीद रहे हैं मार्केट से ट्रैवल करने के लिए, या एक इंपोर्टर को पेमेंट करनी है बैंक के थ्रू, सो उसका फिजिकल मार्केट में एक्सपोजर है। सो उसी के जब हम डेरिवेटिव्स बनाते हैं, सो दैट कुड बी अ फ्यूचर्स और एन ऑप्शन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट। सो बहुत सारे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स हो सकते हैं जिसके ऊपर हमारे ये डेरिवेटिव्स होते हैं। एक अंडरलाइंग एसेट होता है, वेदर फ्यूचर्स भी हैं वर्ल्ड ओवर जो ट्रेड होते हैं। यू हैव क्रूड ऑयल फ्यूचर्स, यू हैव निकल फ्यूचर्स। सो बहुत सारी कमोडिटीज, बहुत सारे स्टॉक प्राइसेस, इंडाइसेस और करेंसीज ट्रेड हो रही हैं, एंड दीज आर ऑल द अंडरलाइंग एसेट्स और उन्हीं की मूवमेंट के अकॉर्डिंगली फ्यूचर्स की मूवमेंट हमारे को देखने को मिलती है, और ऑप्शंस आल्सो.
Ma'am, there's one more question by Ayush Goyal.
Yeah, please go ahead.
What will be the possible steps to attract traders to enter F&O in developing economies like India where financial knowledge is still lacking?
These steps could be, I think, a lot of education. I think you teachers are already, faculty members are already doing a great job in apprising the students with the knowledge about financial markets. In our times, there were no such webinars or sessions which were organized. We had to learn everything on our own while gaining the practical experience. But I think from very small age group, students are now learning about the financial markets. And I think there's a lot of interest. Besides, we have a lot of financial websites also to which students and everybody else is also attracted to. I think it's more about awareness and also to start small. Do not go all out and invest all of your money in financial markets in one go. I would never advise that. Start very small, take very small steps, gain knowledge, be very disciplined, be very focused about your goal, your shorter term goals, your longer term goals. And I think it's basically discipline in the market which will help you to make money in the market and gain more knowledge about the markets. It's a very vast field. I've just covered one part of it, but it's a very vast field. You should first gain knowledge and then only enter these markets. And I think it's a very exciting phase to be in, with the kind of in India growth story which is very promising at the moment. And I did not mention this, but Indian rupee has been one of the best performing currencies in the recent times vis-a-vis the other developing markets and emerging economies, because India is in a very bright spot. Why? Because interest rates globally are low, and we have huge demand which is being created in India. The Make in India initiative and the right policies which are being adopted by our government. I think the foreign investors are certainly looking at India as a very bright spot. So I think the markets overall, I'm talking about equity markets in general, have a very bright future. And I think you all and people like us are doing our job in terms of increasing awareness about these markets. And we have these business channels also who are doing a good job. So a lot to be done yet. But yes, everybody's on their path and doing their bit.
Ma'am, the next question is from Tarush. Ma'am, can you elaborate on margin and how does it affect investor?
Okay, let me go back to my slide, how it impacts an investor, because it would be more clear with if I show you this slide. Yes. So what is a margin? मैं थोड़ा सा सिंपल लैंग्वेज में और बता देती हूँ. एक, अगर आपको लॉट खरीदना है, अगर आप डॉलर खरीद रहे हैं, तो अगर आपको एक लॉट खरीदना है मतलब आप $1000 को खरीद रहे हैं. किस प्राइस पे खरीद रहे हैं? 73 या 73.50, इट्स इररिलेवेंट. जिस भी प्राइस पे खरीद रहे हैं, कुछ भी प्राइस हो सकता है, 74 हो सकता है, 75. सो अगर आप एक $1000 खरीद रहे हैं तो आपको कितना अमाउंट पे करना पड़ेगा? एक डॉलर खरीदने के लिए हमें लेट्स से 75 रुपीज देने पड़ते हैं, तो $1000 खरीदने के लिए हमें 75,000 रुपीज देने पड़ेंगे, राइट? अगर मैं कहीं बाहर ट्रैवल करने जा रही हूँ तो मुझे $1000 की रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो मैं इतने ही पैसे दूंगी. बट वहीं अगर मुझे लगता है कि ये डॉलर यहाँ से 75 से 78 हो जाएगा और मुझे उसमें एडवांटेज लेना है, तो मैं बैंक से खरीदूं. तो पहली बात तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे रूल्स हैं. आप फिजिकल में तो करेंसी में ऐसे कर ही नहीं सकते हैं. स्पेकुलेशन अलाउड ही नहीं है अनलेस एंड अनटिल यू हैव सम फिजिकल रिक्वायरमेंट, तो आप अलाउड ही नहीं है. बट फ्यूचर्स मार्केट में आपसे कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछेगा कि आप क्यों ट्रेड कर रहे हैं. यू कैन ईजिली स्पेकुलेट ऑन द मूवमेंट. अगर आपका कोई प्रॉफिट मोटिव है, उसको अचीव करने के लिए कर रहे हैं, या आपका कोई व्यू है मार्केट को लेके, आप उसको लेके काम कर रहे हैं, तो आपको यहाँ पे 75,000 तो नहीं देने पड़ेंगे $1000 के लिए. और लेट्स से $10,000 करना चाहते हैं, आपको सिर्फ $1000 जिसकी वैल्यू 75,000 है उसको खरीदने के लिए, या उसमें रिटर्न्स कमाने के लिए, या उसमें एक प्राइस व्यू है आपका, सिर्फ 1800 से 2000 रुपए देने पड़ेंगे. ये होता है मार्जिन. इसी को हम बोलते हैं लेवरेज. ये हमें लेवरेज मिल जाती है. और लेवरेज इससे भी एक एडिशनल चीज होती है. इंट्राडे में भी आपको एक एक्स्ट्रा लेवरेज मिलती है. आपको अगर आपको सिर्फ इंट्राडे में ट्रेड करना है कुछ पैसे के लिए, लेट्स से 40 पैसे की मूवमेंट आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें भी आपको एक डबल लेवरेज मिल जाएगी. आप $2000 तक बाय कर सकते हैं इंट्राडे में. मतलब आप 1.5 लाख की पोजीशन ले रहे हैं सिर्फ 2,000 रुपए देके, आपको 1.5 लाख रुपए नहीं देने पड़ेंगे। इसीलिए ये एक स्मॉल इन्वेस्टर के लिए, एक रिटेल इन्वेस्टर के लिए या एक बिगनर के लिए बहुत एक्साइटिंग वर्ड है। वहीं अगर आप निफ्टी में बात करते हैं, निफ्टी में अगर आपको ट्रेड करना है क्योंकि बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रिटर्न्स हैं तो एवरीबडी इज अट्रैक्टेड, सबको लगता है कि एवरीबडी इज एंथूज्ड बाय दीज मार्केट्स कि मुझे भी वहां पे ट्रेड करना है, मुझे भी बाय करना है। अगर आप निफ्टी में ट्रेड करते हैं तो आपको 12.5% तक का मार्जिन देना पड़ेगा, सो विच इज ह्यूज। बट अगर आप अभी स्टार्टिंग ही कर रहे हैं तो करेंसी डेरिवेटिव्स में बहुत सारे शेयर्स नहीं है जिसको आपको समझना है, बहुत सारी कंपनीज नहीं है जिसकी बैलेंस शीट को पढ़ना है। 4 सिंपल पेयर्स हैं जो 9 से 5 की टाइमिंग्स में ट्रेड होते हैं। आप इसमें बहुत कम मार्जिन रिक्वायरमेंट के साथ इजीली ट्रेड कर सकते हैं। सो दिस इज कॉल्ड मार्जिन। आपको बहुत कम मार्जिन पे करके इजीली, आप ये देखें, आपको सिर्फ इतने पैसे पे करने हैं और आपको 10 स्लॉट में अगर आपकी 30 पैसे की मूवमेंट आ जाती है तो आपको 3,000 रुपए तक का इंट्राडे में भी प्रॉफिट हो सकता है। यहाँ आपने कितने पैसे लगाए? 18,000। अगर आप 10 स्लॉट में काम कर रहे हैं तो आपने सिर्फ 18,000 रुपीज लगाए, जबकि आपने पोजीशन कितने की ली है? आपने पोजीशन ली है 7.5 लाख की। अब हमने 10 स्लॉट कर दिया ना, तो इसका मतलब हमने $10,000 में काम किया। मतलब हमारी पोजीशन तो थी 7.5 लाख की, पर हमने पैसे कितने दिए एक ब्रोकर को? सिर्फ 18 से 20,000 रुपए दिए, और उस पर हमारा प्रॉफिट पोटेंशियल इतना है। लॉस भी हो सकता है, बिल्कुल हो सकता है, उसके लिए स्टॉप लॉसेस होना बहुत जरूरी है, वो एक अलग साइंस है। व्हाट इज द साइंस ऑफ ट्रेडिंग, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट। सो ये डायनेमिक्स होते हैं मार्केट के कि आपको कितना पैसा डिप्लॉय करना है इनिशियली। आप इसमें जैसे जैसे एक्सपीरियंस गेन करें, आप अपनी पोजीशन साइज को इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं, डिफरेंट स्ट्रैटेजीज को अडॉप्ट कर सकते हैं, ऑप्शंस के साथ कंबाइन कर सकते हैं। सो दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ डेरिवेटिव्स मार्केट कि बहुत सारी ऑप्शंस है जिसमें आप कर सकते हैं। फिजिकल में तो आपने खरीद लिया, फिर जब बढ़ जाएगा तभी आप बेच सकते हैं शेयर्स को। जैसे आप डीमैट में रखते हैं किसी शेयर को, या आपने करेंसी खरीद ली किसी बैंक से, आपके पास पड़ी है, आप पिछली बार ट्रैवल करके आए थे, वो बढ़ जाएगी तो आप उसको बेच देंगे। बट उसमें आप कोई स्ट्रैटेजी नहीं कर सकते। आपने पूरे पैसे लगाए थे, या आपने गोल्ड भी खरीदा था, लेट्स से आपने गोल्ड पिछले साल 42,000 रुपये खरीद लिया, अभी 47,500 के आसपास चल रहा है, आपको 5,000 रुपये पर 10 ग्राम का प्रॉफिट हुआ, अब आप उसको बेच देंगे। बट वहीं एक साल में इतनी मूवमेंट हुई, आपने अगर फ्यूचर्स मार्केट में काम किया तो आपको बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं जिस पे आप काम कर सकते हैं इतने टाइम फ्रेम में। एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में पोजीशन बाय की है, नेक्स्ट में सेल की भी क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। सो बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। सो दिस इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ डेरिवेटिव्स मार्केट। बाय जस्ट पेइंग अ स्मॉल मार्जिन you can deploy different strategies.
Next question is, Shivam is asking, ma'am, only a rich person can benefit through the derivatives, or a middle class or poor people can also use these strategies? Because we don't think into this perspective of trading.
No, I think ये क्वेश्चन मैंने ऑलरेडी प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन में आंसर काफी हद तक कर दिया है। बिल्कुल एक स्मॉल इन्वेस्टर, रिटेल इन्वेस्टर, मिडिल क्लास और इवन अ स्टूडेंट आप स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। आई थिंक आप में से काफी लोगों को पता होगा कि राकेश झुनझुनवाला ने सिर्फ 5,000 रुपए से स्टार्ट किया था इक्विटी मार्केट्स में, एंड आज उसका एम्पायर कितने वर्थ ऑफ करोड्स है। सो देयर इज no, I would say you can start from as low as 2,000 rupees. I've just explained it to you with the margin requirements. But मैं ये आपको फिर भी रिकमेंड करूंगी कि अगर आप पहले पेपर ट्रेडिंग करेंगे तो बेटर रहेगा, और अगर आप रियल मार्केट्स में एंटर करते भी हैं तो एटलीस्ट अपना 10,000 का अमाउंट जरूर लेके चलें, बिकॉज अगर मार्केट में कुछ फ्लक्चुएशंस आती हैं तो आपके पास कुछ बफर होना चाहिए। सो आई वुड सजेस्ट कि 10,000 के अमाउंट से आप इजीली ट्रेड कर सकते हैं। इसके साथ साथ मैं आपको एक और बात बताती हूँ कि गोल्ड पेटल जैसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हैं जहाँ सिर्फ 1 ग्राम गोल्ड पे आप ट्रेड कर सकते हैं। सो बहुत कम अमाउंट से आप बहुत सारे डेरिवेटिव इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स हैं जिसमें ट्रेड कर सकते हो, स्पेशली कमोडिटी एंड करेंसी मार्केट्स में। इक्विटीज में आपको ये ब्यूटी नहीं मिलेगी, वहाँ मार्जिन बहुत हाई हैं और लॉट साइजेस भी काफी बड़े हैं। बट कमोडिटीज में आपके पास सिल्वर माइक्रा, गोल्ड पेटल जैसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हैं जो 1-1 ग्राम की कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, जिसमें आप बहुत कम मार्जिन देके आप इजीली काम कर सकते हैं।
Ma'am, Ritik Gupta is asking another question. On what should we focus more, technical or fundamental analysis?
Okay, I'll tell you about myself. I think it's very important to understand both. See, स्पेकुलेशन के लिए अगर आप करते हैं तो टेक्निकल्स बहुत अच्छे वर्क करते हैं, बट अगर आपको थोड़ा सा लंबा देखना है तो आपको जब तक फंडामेंटल्स की नॉलेज ना हो कि हो क्या रहा है मार्केट्स में, बहुत ज़्यादा हाई रिटर्न्स निकालना बहुत मुश्किल है। अभी देखिए फंडामेंटल्स क्या कह रहे थे, इक्विटी मार्केट्स के फंडामेंटल्स दिखा रहे थे कि मार्केट्स रिकवरी वापस आ रही है इंडिया में, इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी पिकअप कर रही है, वैक्सीनेशन रोल आउट इज इन हाई गियर। सो ग्लोबली भी सिनारियो काफ़ी इम्प्रूव हो रहा है और डोमेस्टिकली भी सिनारियो काफ़ी इम्प्रूव हो रहा था, और आप देख रहे थे कि ट्रैफिक भी वापस प्री पैंडेमिक लेवल्स के आसपास आ चुका है। सो इससे क्या होगा, हमारी इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी पिकअप करेगी तो मार्केट्स ऑब्वियसली पॉजिटिव परफॉर्म करेंगी, एंड मार्केट्स आर जनरली फॉरवर्ड लुकिंग। वो आज के फैक्टर को सिर्फ नहीं देखती है, वो फ्यूचर ग्रोथ को देखती है, और इसी वजह से इंडियन रुपी भी अप्रिशिएट करा और हमारे स्टॉक प्राइसेस भी काफी ज्यादा बढ़े हैं, बिकॉज मार्केट्स आर फ्यूचरिस्टिक इन नेचर। So fundamentals plus technicals is very important. I myself do both of them for both the segments. So अगर आप दोनों को समझेंगे तो आपके लिए अच्छा रहेगा, but yes, one of them is also enough. और बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो सिर्फ एक सेगमेंट में एक एनालिसिस को करके भी बहुत अच्छे रिटर्न्स बना रहे हैं, ओनली टेक्निकल्स और ओनली फंडामेंटल्स, बट मेरी सजेशन दोनों को करने की है।
So I think that was it from the Q&A session. Ma'am, you answered the questions very nicely and so in a very detailed manner. And as we are done with this Q&A session, it is high time to invite CA Yask Sen sir for the vote of thanks and the presentation of the digital memento to our guest. Sir, please.
Very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Thanks a lot for your priceless time to our students. In simple words, if you have to measure the level of understanding and interest of the students, that could be reflected by the Q&A session. With the enthusiasm the students reacted on that part shows how good the session was. I could see in the structure of the session, you started with basics, starting with very basic fundamental concepts. Then you moved on to certain practical aspects and the datas. The datas obviously created a lot more interest among all the participants. There is a lot of scope and opportunity for us to get into the currency market. And then you, of course, touch to the practical aspects. I really like this term which you said that in currency market, there are only 4 currency combination with very low margin and 9 to 5 work, 9 to 5 timing, and the capital of rupees 10,000. And you also mentioned instruments like gold, petal, and silver micra, which really motivated all the participants that there is a lot of scope and opportunity. And you combine the aspects of theoretical aspects, practical aspects of current scenario, and the future opportunities. So once again, thanks a lot to you.
Thanks.
And we look forward to more such sessions from you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me. Thanks for your valuable time. You also have devoted so much of time. Thanks to all the students also. And in the end, before I leave this session, I think I would like to end with a few words from somebody whom I really epitomize, and everybody else also, from Warren Buffett. I think he has set 3 golden rules. Learn from your past and keep making mistakes, but do not repeat those mistakes. The second one is invest in yourself. The third one is invest in things you understand. So it's very important to invest in yourself, keep learning, keep growing in life, and have a very clear perspective about life. Keep your focus on all your goals. And from my side, I would always advise all the students to have a pursuit of excellence. And that is something which will definitely take you far ahead in life.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of wisdom today. I hope the participants gained some knowledge and also enjoyed this beautiful session. I would also like to thank Yask sir for his kind gesture. The link of the feedback form is now available in the chat box. All the participants must fill that form in order to receive their e-certificates. With this, we end up this marvelous event and hope that all of you obtain at least some information from this session. Thank you everyone for participating. Goodbye, and do fill the feedback form in order to receive your e-certificates. Once again, I request all the participants to fill that feedback form, because you are not going to receive your e-certificates until you fill that feedback form. And I hope you all enjoyed this session very much and looking forward to such more events in future. Thank you so much, everyone. Once again, I would like to request the participants who have not yet filled the feedback form, please do it as soon as possible, and then you are free to leave the meet. Thank you so much.
Aman, can we end the meet?
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.